Hello.
Hello.
Well, now I feel like I should go to lipstick. You look very nice.
I literally never wear lipstick, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make this a thing now.
This could be a Zoom thing.
This is gonna be a new thing for me. At least I did something. Like convocation, usually like I'm pumped, like ready to go. You know, getting to Washburn early, and then I was like,
Oh,
getting out of bed to watch that was a lot of effort.
well, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like scream at in my house? Like,
Oh my God, he's like, make some noise. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Hey, can you make me a co-host so that way I can share my screen?
I will try. Yes.
Okay. And then I'm gonna let in this one that says example because that is the student. Like I have a student view of the whatever, because I think whatever they have on the slides is dumb. I'd rather just show it to them from.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty much gonna just read from the notes. And I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. Like,
well, when we get to, let's see here.
At least for the first like chunk of it. When it gets to the part where like they're looking at it and it's sandbox time, it's gonna be a little different, but.
When we get to the Learn Anywhere plans.
Yes.
Like when it gets to, okay, hopefully now I can share my screen of this. When it gets to this one, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to stop the slideshow and then I'm going to go to the Greater Minds website and just show them the difference between the two. Like the module Learn Anywhere plan and then the
I'm gonna go ahead and admit Alan.
Yeah.
Should I make him a co-host too?
Sure. I think the more people that have access to let people in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that it makes more sense for here than it does on the slides. So.
Right. So you're just going to show the website versus the slides?
Well, like I think when you're on that slide, better go back up and put that away. Oh, that stuff needs to go away. I wonder if I can move this. Can this go down below? Hide video panel. Hide floating. Now I'm not going to have any of that. But when it's here, I feel like it makes more sense to, like, when you're introducing it, to show them what the lesson level slides or what it looks like, and then the topic discourse slides, because when we get here, I feel like it makes zero sense.
Like, yeah, what we were doing before.
Yeah. So I just think that, like, because when they were giving me both of the instructions about Eureka, I felt like they kept using these words like we knew what they were talking about. So I'd rather just show it to them.
Yeah.
Then.
Okay. So instead of showing the slides themselves, I can still read the notes and stuff, but
yeah.
Talking through.
I immediately regret hiding all of the things. I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, now all of a sudden it appeared again. God, I'm going to sound just like all of the people that I hate who are like, wait, what? How do I run this?
Hi, Alan.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Ready to get this done?
Oh, my. It's like leading the blind. That's what it is.
Honestly, yeah, because even when I got access, I was like, I don't even know what I need to make myself know by Wednesday. So
Right. Yeah, I was looking at it once I got in it, and I was like, there's just things you don't know. And I found different things, like you could take that packet of the templates, the lesson, the application problem, like you could put that into Seesaw.
Yeah.
But I don't know, are they wanting the kids to log into this and use this? I'd rather just use Seesaw. I don't want the kids
I
bouncing
think they
around
just
everywhere.
want us using Seesaw, and well, right now it's like a million different. It's several steps to get to it and
Right.
assign it and stuff. So I think we're just going to be putting them in Seesaw anyway
Good.
until it becomes easier, because by the 15th or whatever they're gonna have it. There's an update or something.
Right. And we have some teachers here that can't even get into it yet, so.
Yep.
Do you just want me to monitor the chat box and let people in?
Yeah, that's why I made you a co-host.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
whenever Nettie gets on here, I'll make her one too, just so you guys can both be.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, for doing this. Like I said, I couldn't make the meeting, and I never feel good. Now, I mean, if I had time and I sat in that meeting, I'd probably been fine to present, but.
Honestly, I sat through that meeting, Alan, and I still don't feel confident.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling I have a lot of questions. So this will be recorded, so we'll be good there. And then they'll have the questions there, or do I need to make a document for the questions?
I think let's see if we have time to answer a question. Like once we have those that like free time for them to kind of like go and play around. I
Right.
think we just try to field some questions while they're like exploring it.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
you can just stop us when there's like you think it's a good question or a question that you don't know how to answer.
Okay. We'll do
And
that.
then chances are we'll probably say we don't know either. We'll
Right.
send that to them.
Hey guys, I'm not gonna show my face today. I've been sick, so.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You're fine. I just made you a co-host so you could like help Alan monitor the chat.
No problem.
Do you have COVID?
I don't know. I got tested. We'll see.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. Oh.
Yep.
Well, you know, I
was
read
just kidding, but I guess you never know.
I
know.
read an article the other day from some science thing that was on Facebook, and it said it's not a matter of if we get it, it's a matter of when we get it. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
Unfortunately.
Kind of yeah. Well, I can come over and hang out with each of you, so you can just get it over with.
yeah, you do it as a group.
I
yeah.
mean, might as well, right?
Well,
I
my
know.
daughter is a nursing student. She's in her last semester, but she works at Aldersgate, and she contracted it about 3 weeks ago, and she said it was like the death of her. Like, she's very healthy and everything, so really, she just had like a very, very bad cold. She said is what it felt like. So
Yeah,
And
that's
she
kind of
did-
what this is feeling like.
she did lose her taste. I mean, everything they've kind of thrown out. So,
Oh gosh.
but she healed in a couple days. I mean, she said it was just a run of the mill. So,
Well, hopefully.
yeah,
We'll
let's
see.
hope you get over it quick.
I know a part of me is like, okay, I kind of want it to be positive just to get it over with, but
yeah.
at the same time,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I don't know, because it's just not fun.
No.
I just think at the beginning of this, everybody was like so worried and so conscious about how do I not get it. And now I'm looking back and going, dang it, I wish I would have gotten it early so that way.
I wish
I
I would
just
have.
said that same thing.
Exactly.
Yes. All
All right.
right, I'm gonna mute myself. Be ready in the chat.
Are we ready to let people in?
No.
You got
No.
this, girls.
We'll be like, we forgot.
You got this. You look beautiful. You got
Yep.
this.
You guys have got this. Here we go.
Let me go ahead and turn down my volume.
Yeah. I think this almost would have been easier when we were teaching online. I feel like I haven't used some of these skills in a long time.
I know.
Jerry, Paige, and I both think you look beautiful today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Figured if I was presenting, I might as well look the part today.
Like, dang, girl. Get it.
Jerry Benson. Moving up in the world. Presenting.
Actually, I already complimented her. Look how beautiful she is.
Well, I was FaceTiming Frankie, so I was a little busy.
Yeah. Well, okay.
My sweet baby has a fly swatter. He wanted to show me. You are so beautiful. I love your hair. Saw your picture last night on the Facebooks.
Guys, I learned how to do my hair like this on a TikTok.
I cut my hair by watching YouTube videos this summer. Anything is possible.
I won't do that.
What did you do to it from TikTok?
You put your straightener on it, and then you just twist it and pull down, and then you comb through it.
I don't ever comb my hair when it's dry.
Got some beachy waves going, so.
Well, I will when I undo my braid. You won't believe how curly my hair is. Hey, Alan,
Yes?
thought you taught 3rd grade.
Oh, no, I moved to 5th grade this year.
Welcome.
I
It's
thought
the
you
best
picked that up
grade.
over the summer when we were chatting.
No, I totally missed that.
Ashley's not very good at picking up stuff.
No, I'm really,
Oh,
no
I've
one
heard.
told me that. Feeling a little attacked right now.
Hey, Jessica.
Oh, am I unmuted?
You're unmuted. It's Tracy Cashier. Oh.
Are you back at 5th grade?
Well, for this COVID time.
Oh, what a winner.
Yeah, I'll be the 5th grade remote teacher whenever we get back in. Assuming we get back in.
Yeah, I have a few kids I could throw in your class.
Right now, I've already got 30.
Yeah, so 3 more. It's fine.
Yeah, what's 3 more?
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm excited. When she told us we were going to have to do this, I said, put me at 5th. I want 5th.
Yeah.
Which is good because most of the other teachers were like, I don't want 5th.
That's called job security. Nobody likes the hormonal kids. So you just hold on to those kids and you're good. Everyone wants the real cute, runny ones.
I did 1st grade a few years ago and I figured out, nope, I'm a 5th grade teacher. I love those guys.
Yeah, those little kids, they're so cute, but they drip and their teeth fall out. And when they hug you, their nose is right in your belly button.
Well, 5th graders kind of tend to be in the wrong spot too.
Yeah, they get a one arm. Hey, kid. Or a fist bump.
Do we know how many people we're supposed to have in here?
Approximately 3,000.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go then.
Yeah, they're still coming in. We're up to like 55 almost, so.
All right, how about we just give it a couple more minutes?
Maybe some people could tell me I look pretty since Jerry got a bunch of compliments.
I think you look beautiful. Love your hair too.
Uh,
Know you as well.
Jessica Manning, I sent you a private chat to tell you looked very nice. So,
Hi, Adrian.
hi, Tracy.
oh,
Too bad we weren't all sitting in the same room. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
We kind of are.
Yeah, but I can only see one picture at a time right now.
That's it.
And I can't see mine, so sorry, this is what you get.
We got a bug. We have a bug.
It is nice to see you, Adrian. I hope you've been well.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good.
That didn't even look like a roach either. That was just a beetle. No, I smashed it. It's in the trash. I'm good, honey. Oh, I didn't get it.
Oh.
I'm gonna mute myself.
I have to do something.
at least you remembered you were sharing your screen, because I always forget and start going other places.
Yeah. Show you guys my online shopping that I was doing. Jerry, can you make that example a co-host?
Yeah. Oh.
All right, ladies, it's slowed down. You can go ahead and start, I'd say. It's 10:35.
Yay. All right, welcome to Eureka Math InSync training. My name is Jessica Manning. I teach 5th grade at McClure Elementary.
And I'm Jerry Finson. I teach 5th grade at Jardine Elementary.
All right. This bit.ly at the bottom of your page that I just blocked is the handout that you guys can use. It's really helpful because I believe it's a PDF that you can't write on. So make sure you get to that bit.ly. Thank you, Nettie. All right, it's in the chat in case you guys need it. For Zoom, they want you guys to rename your names to your first name and your last name and your building. So you can do that by going over to the participants, and when you hover over your name, you should be able to click rename. And if you have any questions, make sure you put those in the chat. Make sure your cell phone is silenced, which I'm gonna double check mine now, yep. And just have your microphone muted. Jerry, you want to take this part?
Yeah, okay. So learning intentions and success criteria. We are learning to use Eureka Math InSync in order to design and deliver instruction so that learning continues no matter where students are being taught. We will know we are successful when we can explore each component of Eureka Math InSync and analyze its features, explore best instructional practices for math discourse and formative assessment, and preview a process for preparing to teach in a variety of settings using Eureka Math InSync components and additional resources.
So basically, most of us have been teaching Eureka Math before, and Eureka Math InSync is very similar. So you can still use this online component I personally don't like to get online and look at my lesson plans. I like to open up my teacher book. So they're basically the same thing. They're not introducing a whole new math curriculum to us. So the module overview that we would find in our teacher book is going to be similar but look different through InSync. So this would be our module overview for InSync, and it has a lot of different components to it. But we know that whether we're online or we're using our teacher books in the classroom, we need to be looking over that module overview and using that to kind of guide our instruction. The Eureka Math, or the InSync, is kind of helpful because it's a little bit more, it seems like it's more succinct. So I can look at a lesson instead of reading through paragraphs of information to figure out where the module is. I can read through a small little outcome from the lesson to figure out where I'm going within this topic. So the Eureka InSync has 4 new components, and it sounds super stressful when you hear it at first, except for a lot of them are things that we already had access to with our books, but they've just created an online version. And then there are some things we decided to add to help with this teaching online component. But we can use this when we're back in the classrooms as well. So the first part is these Learn Anywhere plans. And they're kind of like lesson plans, but they're more succinct. So we have a module Learn Anywhere plan, which, if you remember from the previous slide, is like our module overview. And it's going to give us video lessons. It tells us in the whole module, there's all these lessons. It gives us little helpful icons that tell us things like there's videos for all of these lessons. It also, a big part of the online version is going over the lesson debrief, which I know we all got to in the classroom. So now we have ways that we can get to the lesson debrief with slides from Eureka InSync. And then they've organized it by topic and lesson. So I'm going to get out of here and show you guys what it looks like on Eureka InSync, except for it looks like I have to reshare my screen. So with the Eureka InSync, this is what it will look like, and you can access your module overview right here. And this is your module Learn Anywhere plan. You're gonna go over here and you'll be able to see it. It tells you what these little things are. My suggestion is to download it because you can't scroll down on the web page. You can only scroll down on the PDF. And so you're only seeing like 1/4 of the page at a time. So that's going to be your module Anywhere plans. Oh, sorry guys. And we're back. Now, the other part of the Learn Anywhere plans is your lesson Learn Anywhere plans. So again, I want to show you the 5th grade version. This one is a high school version, I believe. Oh my gosh, I forgot how many clicks it is to share things. Okay, so if we're looking for a lesson Learn Anywhere plan, we have to go to the module, we have to click on our topic, and then we have to click on our lesson. And then I can get to the Learn Anywhere plans. So unfortunately, there's no way to print off the Learn Anywhere plans, but you can access them all here, and they're really kind of like a short, sweet version of this. Over here, it's telling you the materials that you're going to need for the lesson. They also give you the terminology and some words that are going to be important within the lesson, and I think that is super helpful. I would try to make sure these words end up in my success criteria. It also gives you the objective for the lesson that you're on, just a short, sweet, you could turn that into your learning intention. And then a really helpful thing for this is they have it split into the video and the class facilitation. And I don't know how many of you guys have heard the words asynchronous versus synchronous learning, but it will be words that we hear a lot throughout this. And asynchronous just means things that the students are doing away from the teacher. So what they're doing independently. And then synchronous would be what you're doing in your Zoom meeting. So this video part right here would be the asynchronous part of the lesson for lesson 1. It would be what they're doing away from you. They're watching the video, they give you a description of it, and then they're doing the assignment. And I like that it tells you the problems that they must do if you have students who work slowly through things or whatever. And then the class facilitation part of our Learn Anywhere plan is going to show us what you could be doing in those Zoom meetings with your kids. So if you watch the video and you think, well, the video just basically taught the lesson, this fluency gives you, this class facilitation part gives you stuff to do in your Zoom meetings with your kids. The fluency, they're going to tell you lesson by lesson whether they recommend doing it virtually or not. And you can find that in the module Learn Anywhere plan. It will have a little icon that tells you whether or not you could do it virtually. The application problem, and then the student debrief. And the student debrief, we looked through quite a few of those. We'll talk more about it, but it looks like they're taking problems either from the problem set or the exit ticket, and they're giving it different numbers or rewording it. So that way you can kind of have a discussion over the major concept of the lesson. And then the last part of the Learn Anywhere plan is where it's telling you where you're going with the next lesson. So you kind of have an idea of where you're trying to get those students. And I think the benefit of these, especially the lesson Learn Anywhere plans, is that we've all taught Eureka before. So this can be a really easy way for you online to just access the information, because for some of us, you already kind of know where you're going with your lessons. Let me share the screen again. So that's what this one shows you, but I felt like this was a little hard to see, and it's not even for 5th grade. Another component of the Eureka InSync is the lesson videos. And we're gonna watch a lesson video, not for very long, but just so you get a sense of the lesson videos. You would send a link to the students, probably through Seesaw, and then they can click on it and watch that video. And ideally it would work for you.
On your own. We know that.
Sorry, I was watching it earlier. I do want to say my screen is already zoomed out quite a bit. When I originally was looking at this, this is what I saw. And like I said, you can't scroll down on that web page. So what I had to do was zoom out of my internet using just control and minus, and then suddenly I have access to all the tools down at the bottom.
Hi, my friend, and welcome. In today's lesson, we'll be using reasoning and our place value understanding to notice relationships in adjacent base 10 units. Let's see what materials you'll need for this lesson. It says here that you need template 2. You'll want to go ahead and place template 2 inside of your personal whiteboard so that we can use it with a dry erase marker. Take a moment to do that now, and pause the video if you need to. Well, let's go ahead and get started.
So as you see, all of the lessons have subtitles, so I think that's helpful. You also can, the students can turn it to Spanish, and then it's dubbed in Spanish.
Unidades. Veamos qué materiales necesitarás para esta lección.
And everything that we have access to with Eureka is able to go to Spanish. All right. And then we have the topic facilitation decks, slide decks.
And these are organized by lesson level and by topic level. Not every lesson is going to have a student, you might not get to a student debrief, which is fine, but they do have an example for each lesson, at least one question. And the same for topic, I believe.
Yes. So I'm going to show you an example of that on Greater Minds. Sorry that I have to keep sharing, but I felt like it was easier for you guys to see this on the website than it was for you to see on the slideshow. So when I go back from here, everything that I had open closes back up. So that's not a super handy part of it, but just be aware that it's always going to close right back up. So when we go to the topic slides, they're going to be under the topic that you're on, and it's the topic facilitation, and you'll have to download it, and it shows up as a PowerPoint. So what you'll see is the two different versions of, well, this whole slideshow has all the application problems for that topic. So for all of the, I think there's 4 lessons in topic A. And so you'll see, you guys cannot see anything that I am sharing with you. I apologize. Doesn't seem to let me share PowerPoint.
Jessica, we have a question. Are students going to be given physical workbooks?
We have been told, Jerry, go ahead.
I mean, either, I don't care. Just go ahead, Jessica.
We've been told they have. They will have them.
But at the same time, later on in our presentation, you'll learn there's fillable PDFs that can be linked, and so they can do it online as well. They don't need a physical book.
Okay, so this would be the PowerPoint that you would download, and it has it has all the application problems for lesson 1 through, I think, looks like way more, lesson 3. Okay, so 4 different application problems. So you just download this slideshow at the beginning of your topics, and you can take it and put it in Google Slides, or you could take it and put it in Active Inspire and use it from there. But then it also, this is the part that Jerry was talking about. There's a student debrief for each lesson. They've just taken, like, this is the exit ticket, but they've given you new numbers to work with. And this would be what you're doing in your Zoom meeting with your kids, or it could be, I should say. This is not what you have to do. This is how I'm making sense of their student debrief and their topic debrief. And then later in the slideshow, they have the topic discourse. And so throughout topic A, they've taken 3 different problems from problem sets and exit tickets. And I would go over this with my kids before they take the topic quiz.
I saw there were some questions. I believe that currently we are going to be using the videos that our team has made for us, unless we hear otherwise.
We were told that you guys have at least 6 weeks of videos made by teachers in the district, made by myself and a few other teachers, especially for math, that you can use that time to get more comfortable with Eureka InSync. And I think for 5th grade, our videos go all the way to October something. So you have until then to kind of feel more comfortable, and also it gives Eureka InSync time to fix some of the problems that they're having and making their website a little bit easier. As when you guys get to the part where you get to kind of play around with it and see, you'll see that there are just some things that make it a little bit not as user friendly. It's still usable, and you can do it, but there's just some things that they're working on because they tried to create this very quickly for us, and there are things that they're adding. So you have no pressure to use it right now, but you can start using it when you feel comfortable with it.
And there was a question also about provided tools for the kids. For instance, when the instructor says take out a template for lesson 1, they need a plastic sleeve. Is that going to be provided to the student? I kind of responded back to the first question about that I've heard that there is possibly going to be a toolkit sent out, but we don't know exactly when that'll be.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They have tools for each grade level. I'm not sure what those tools entail, but they have to be still put together. And then I don't know what it looks like for them to distribute, but we were told not to expect those within the first week of school. Okay.
Okay, so this shows that there are 4 different approaches to facilitating student debriefs. So basically just there's a sample solution, error analysis, connection, and impact. And your lesson overview or your module overview will tell you which connection is connected or which approach is connected to each lesson, like with the icons. This is just an example of a a couple examples of the student debriefs. Again, like she said, it's just they've taken questions that are similar to exit ticket questions and they just changed the wording or the numbers just to so they have different examples to go back to and discuss with you. This one is an example of the topic discourse. The second, it's just for, discussion, facilitation. So when you're delivering it, just kidding. When you're delivering it virtually, it's okay. When you're delivering it virtually, we understand that there's not always an opportunity to conduct it for every lesson, but just condense it to the essential learning of the topic. So this is just another example of how you can discuss it with your students. This is an example of an instructional routine. There are several. All routines can be found in Appendix B of the user guide, which you can find online. And I do kind of recommend downloading that as well, just so you have that easily accessible versus clicking a million times to go back and find it again.
It just kind of gives you all of the steps of a math chat, which hopefully most of us are familiar with, but it kind of gives some order to what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, Alan, you access it through Clever. Most of us should have access now, as long as you have a class list assigned to you. So you should be good there. Mine did take a day or two to catch up after I got my class list. So if you don't have access yet, it could just be that it needs another day.
And if there's an access issue, I've heard that you need to talk to your building secretary and make sure things are connected correctly, your roster's connected correctly through Tyler, Sis.
I saw a question about Appendix B. There is a user guide for InSync online.
I can show it.
Yeah.
1,000 steps to share a screen.
Sorry.
You're fine. Okay, so this would be the page that always pops up when you log into InSync, and this user guide is right here. My suggestion is to just, if you can get into the school, print it off, just so you have it somewhere. I think the main helpful thing is they keep using icons throughout all of their lesson plans and module overviews and all of those things. And the user guide is where they show you what those mean. I just have it downloaded onto my desktop, and anytime I'm like, what is that icon? I just go look at that. Why will it not change page? Oh, it does. Okay, there we go. Just slower. So the last part of it is this discussion-based assessment. when Eureka presented it to us, it was kind of given to us with the idea of when you take the mid-module or the end of module assessment, that you would be having a discussion about one of the problems from it with your kids. So that way you can kind of just have a math talk with them and have a better understanding. Like, how did you solve this? Where did you get the idea to divide these numbers and stuff like that? So that way you can see, because I know with those module tests, some of my kids are just like, we've been dividing numbers and I saw 2 numbers, so I just divided. Well, that tells me a better understanding that they don't actually know what they're doing. They're using their best guess so they can solve it. Our district is suggesting that the discussion-based assessment might happen with a few kids with the tickets or even the topic quizzes, so it's a little bit more manageable. And it doesn't mean that you're having an individual discussion with all of your kids every day. It means that throughout a topic, you might try to hit all of your kids and have a discussion with them. Or it might mean that you hit with kids that you know have a surface level understanding, so you want to have a better discussion with them. Or kids that you see are getting work correct, but you're not sure how they're getting it correct. Oh, and then here are questions that you could ask them, because, yeah.
I'm just going to interrupt for just a second. Thank you, Jessica. This is Diane Kimsey, and I'm the math consulting teacher. If we haven't met, it's nice to see you all. I see some wonderful familiar faces out there, so thank you for being with us this morning. This is great. So many awesome faces I'm seeing pop up all of a sudden. So thank you for being with us today. You're in great hands with Jerry and Jessica and Nettie and Alan. So thank you, 5th grade, and I wish you the very best. And I'm excited about InSync, and it will only get better. So I truly believe it will. Hey, Paige, I see my sweet friend Paige out there. So have a wonderful school year, 5th grade, and we're here to help you. Holler if we can. If you can't get in, please send me your first name, last name, and if you've had a name change, what was your previous name? And then your school and your grade, and we will do our best to get you in as soon as possible. All right, and as soon as possible is generally anywhere from 24 to 48 hours with InSync. Sorry about that, but it's as soon as possible. All right, 5th grade, have a great school year. Thank you, guys.
All right, so we have our learning intention and success criteria, but let's get to the part that we actually want to, which is you guys getting on. This is talking about the waffle, because you can, if you teach multiple grades or such, you can change grade levels. On there, it should link up to what you have in Tyler Sys, but for some people that's not working. User management, I believe, and Eureka Math Navigator, that will take you to the website that we're familiar with. And then this little bullhorn type thing is announcements, things that they've done and changed for people who like to read about what's new. We already talked about the fact that it's in Spanish. So now I would just want to get to the part where you guys get to get on there and play around with it. I know some of you probably already did while we were doing it. You can go through the TPS bookmarks and then go to Clever Portal to get on Great Minds InSync. You could just go straight to your Clever Portal, or you can go to this website and log in with Google. So right now you guys can all try to attempt that, and we'll be here. You can unmute, you could use the chat just if you're having problems with it. How many of you guys were already getting on it while we were presenting? So you have an idea of what it looks like. That many.
Hey, Jessica, would you go through and show them how to access InSync, like through Clever?
Yeah.
just so everybody can see it. And also, there was a question, and Nettie kind of answered it too, about grading. Make sure with grading, like, we really don't know the requirements yet for grading. I've heard like grades once a week. I heard that in a PD yesterday here at the building. But also remember that out on the TPS learning site, when you go to 5th grade, there is that bar for teacher instructional resources. The videotaping teams have suggested assessments out there on that spreadsheet. So that could be a way you assess for a grade. But as Nettie stated, you know, make sure talking to your administration coach, make sure what the building's expecting too.
All right, so the way that I like to do it is to go through the Clever portal here. But like I said, you can also go to our TPS bookmarks that we should all be able to have access to and go to the Clever portal. Both of them do the exact same thing. And then you're going to go to Great Minds InSync. I've favorited mine so that way I have it up where I want it. You could, or you should be able to find it down below under more apps for the district. I think that's where I found it, and I just favorited it so it's up towards the top of my Clever. And then when you click on it, it should just take you right to that page. When we were first playing around with it, it had a lot of errors and problems with the website, but I haven't had any problems since then. And here's where I talked about that you could find different grade levels. Say you have kids who are well below or well above and you want to give them some different work. You want to go above and beyond, or you want to see where they were at the end of 4th grade. You have access to all of that.
I see that, okay, so if your Clever can't authenticate, like you can't get into Clever at all, I think that is actually our random question. Are you new to the district? Because sometimes you have sometimes new to the district people have issues with Clever. Okay. Yeah, I think
that's why.
Yeah. I think maybe your email just has not synced up yet. Sometimes it does take a couple of days to get access to things like that. Just like with my Clever not syncing up with my Tyler Sys right away to get me access to InSync. I didn't have it until like Friday night, probably.
Right, and I learned yesterday that if there's an update to your Tyler Sys, because we had to shuffle some kiddos around in our roster for 5th grade here at McEachran, it takes 24 hours before it cycles through the district's database. So be patient with that if you didn't already know.
Luckily, we won't be using all aspects of this right away. So even if you don't have access to Clever right now, by the time that we would get to use InSync or start using it, or whatever your building decides, you would have time to have played around with InSync and gotten used to it. So even if you don't have access today, you still have time to figure it out.
And if you're a micro teacher, I see a question about the micro teaching. Talk to your administrator and how they're doing that. For instance, at our building, all the students have been assigned to the classroom teacher right now while we're remote. So the micro teachers are kind of just our support teachers. So depending on how your building's doing that or what the direction is, just check with them on your access.
Yeah, honestly, with the whole remote teacher and micro teacher questions, we don't know a lot about those, mostly just because it's all new. We just don't know.
And right now, you're going to want to just focus on phase 1 because we will probably be in phase 1 for quite a while, guys.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
You bet.
So,
Cody, that could be some of your concern too. You might just talk to your building and see. I'm not for sure how interventionists are linked. If you have access, I doubt you do, unless they make you a co-teacher or something within that system. But just check to see maybe how that's set up.
As far as I'm aware, if you don't have kids in Tyler Sys, you don't have access to this.
Right. I know Corey Anderson's on here. Corey, can you unmute? Can you help that gentleman? Do interventionists have access?
So I'm sorry, I was multitasking and responding to an email. What was the original question?
Gentleman, Mr. Cuevas from HBC, he's an interventionist, and he's not having access to like Tyler sits with the kids he works with, things like that, possibly?
Oh, with
Is
being
that-
the micro classroom. So that is actually a question I just sent into Diane Kimsey and asked who all will have access, because as you build your Clever accounts and things like that, the kids that are going to be pushed through and accessed will be going to the regular classroom teacher. So as we break into micro classroom teachers and things like that, what I think might need to happen is that you will have to be added as a co-teacher on those classes, which means I'm not sure you would get an account through InSync, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? So even once I know that here in our building, once we go into the micro stage, those classes will still be left in those original classes. Like the teachers will still be listed. The kids will still be listed under those original classes because they're not going to keep moving kids through Tyler Sys, is my understanding.
Yeah,
Mr. Williams was on here, right?
Yeah, one of the reasons is because that teacher that are assigned to for phase 1 will still be the teacher that has them in the grade book, and so they will be having to add the micro teacher to their classroom in order for them to put the grades in. So it's going to be fun down the road.
Right. So you will just be added as a co-teacher in Tyler Sys and things like that. And since you're just added as a co-teacher, like Seesaw and things like that, teachers are going to have to go in and add co-teachers for things like that. I do know with Seesaw that you can add an additional class if you're an interventionist. With the InSync, I'm not sure how it's going to work, and my guess would be you'd have to email Diane Kimsey and ask for a login, because if they're an interventionist and they're going to be a micro teacher, they too are going to need to have access to all of that. And I've already emailed her about coaches and haven't gotten a response yet because I'm sure she's getting flooded with emails.
Right.
So.
And one reason the interventionists aren't able to be on that list is they are paid with different funds, so they can't be the teacher of record.
Yeah.
The thing is, if we are going to be remote teachers, and when that happens, I don't want to suddenly be thrown into that role without having a chance to practice some of this ahead of time. So I hope that they'll consider that and get us on sooner than later.
And that's one reason we're trying to pair those teachers with the grade level they're working with, so that they can be that second teacher in there and learn some of that too.
With that being said, though, Tracy, I do believe what you'll need to do is just email Diane Kimsey and say, I'm currently an interventionist going to be supporting in the classroom as we start remote, but when we go to phase 2, I will be remote or micro. Can I please get access to it now? Because I think if they're going to give you access, they'll give it to you now instead of when we do go to phase 2.
And I go through Diane Kimsey on that, or my principal? Or both?
What'd you say, Vic?
Well, I was going to say class lists, there's just still so much that can change between now and the start of even September 9th and then even to phase 2. So I know that we've got a list of those micro teachers who they'll have, but it changes daily with people still changing from remote to micro to whatever. So I wouldn't worry too much about phase 2 and who your kids may or may not be, because
Tracy, what I would recommend if you're wanting access to play around with this stuff, you might ask the grade level that you're working with if they send you the link, the copyable links to each individual thing. You won't get to play around on the website, but you'll have access to those links. Like I practiced sending it to a student, and I just sent them the copyable link, and they had access to the PDF that they could edit. So that would be maybe the easiest way for you to at least navigate or experience some of those things without having to worry too much about logging in and stuff like that. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
What I heard Diane say when she was just on and introducing herself and saying welcome is, if you think you should have an account and don't, email me.
Okay.
And so I think that's going to, I mean, if that's not what I heard, but I think that that's what she said. So hopefully she can get everybody access.
And make sure there's a question about Clever not showing, or your school not showing up on Clever. Check with your team, see if they've got access. If not, I would check with your TA in the building or possibly the secretary, make sure things are set up right.
What I did right here was I shared with you guys, this is what, this is a student account. So if this student were to just click on the link that I sent, this is what they would get for the part about it's what's in the problem set book is what we call it in my classroom. And the thing that we talked about earlier was that it's editable. For them to do this, they have to download this PDF, then they can work on it, and then they have to re-upload it. So it's not being done on the website, that's being done through Seesaw. We're all 5th grade, yeah. It's done through Seesaw, so they're able to type on this document after they've downloaded it and then re-upload it to you so that way they can see it.
Or what I've played with, I think I mentioned before, was I took this PDF and I created an assignment in Seesaw playing around, and I just uploaded the video, added this whole document piece. Can you scroll all the way through so they can see it, Jessica?
Yep.
It has everything for lesson 1 that the kids will have right here. And you could upload this into Seesaw, and they can also just do it right there on Seesaw for you.
Yep.
If you don't want to do the edible part. So, because honestly, our team's been talking, there's going to be a lot of transitioning from one site to another. So if you're trying to lessen that, that could be an idea you could do too.
Yeah, so they have access to the application problem, the problem set, exit ticket, all of that stuff, or just right here in one place so that I have to click a bunch of places. There is one more thing that I want to share with you guys before, because the terminology that Eureka uses is different than what they use in the books, or what I feel like I use as a teacher. So when we get into like the first lesson, now I've got to grab my notes so I make sure I tell you guys this right. They have module 1, lesson 1, learn, lesson 1, practice, and lesson 1, succeed. So I would write this down, to be honest. I have it written down. When they say lesson 1, learn, what they're talking about is the application problem and the problem set and the exit ticket. That's what I assigned for one of my students. When they talk about the practice, that would be the fluency. And sometimes that's not going to be available for you to do online, but sometimes it is. And then when they talk about succeed, that's going to be the homework. So learn is the problem set. That's what we just looked at. And I just clicked the copy link to share. And Alan, I wanted to practice it with Seesaw. Did you copy it from here and put it in Seesaw? Or did
yes, I downloaded like this whole document, and then I saved it, and then I just uploaded it as an activity.
On Seesaw.
On Seesaw.
And you can also change it to Spanish versions if that's something that you need.
Yep.
Okay, now I have to go back through all those same steps again.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
very
lot of clicking,
tedious.
guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is an update coming mid-September that might help a little bit, but I would not hold your breath.
So we have the lesson 1 practice, which I said was the fluency part of it. So like this, I wouldn't recommend doing online. I think they say you could do either, but I wouldn't do it online. And then the succeed, which would be the homework. And there is one cool thing that they have with the homework, not that I want to send homework home, because it's basically all homework, but this homework helper would be something that I would like to upload to Seesaw, because what I've noticed is their homeworks and their problem sets are the exact same questions, just with different numbers. So I might send this home or send it in an email to my parents, so that way they're able to have a little bit of a leg up when it comes to helping their students.
I have a question, and I'm sorry, I have a broken shoulder and I could only type with one hand, so it takes me forever. But our school has been told that we have to use the same sources of what we put in the grade book. Is that district-wide or school-wide? Does the district all have to have the same assignments? Because school-wide, we've been told what we put in the grade book has to be the same. Is that the same way for the district or not?
I've never heard the district level. I've heard your PLC team needs to make sure that when we enter grades into the grade book, that they are identical for the team. So I don't know, is Mr. Williams still on?
Yes, I think it's your just grade level team. You guys got to be united, but you can't do what every building's doing, because every building has different needs. So
right, I just don't feel like I don't know how that would be feasible. Like,
yeah.
Are we all going to meet every week and decide what assignments we're putting in, or?
Right, that's what I was going to say. Like, my assignments might be different than yours for sure.
Yeah.
So, good question though, Jermaine.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, feel free to unmute and ask questions now, guys.
Yeah. And if you're not worried about Eureka InSync, it can be about other things where the only time we get to be together is.
I did have a question. I heard you guys talking about they were going to pass out math books, but I think the goal in phase 1 is to try to do everything seesaw, right? And not have anything that we're touching. And I mean, unless the kid needs that at home just for something to write on, but I don't know. That's a question that I have. I thought it was all the assignments were going to be done online.
I have not heard anything about books being passed out. I know that toolkits are being put together,
Right.
but I don't know if books are being put in that.
We're planning on being passed out.
Well, and like he said, he thinks they're going to be online. There are fillable PDFs on InSync, and I think that's what they're wanting us to use.
Yeah, because even in phase 2, when you come back, just the chance of catching something is high, so we don't want to touch things.
But Jerry, remember when she was talking about like sending certain modules home, because like for 2nd grade, they get through 3 modules within a quarter. So she was talking about sending home the books. I think it depended on whether the school passed them out or not, but I'll email Diane, but I was pretty sure that she said they were getting passed out.
And I think we need clarification for sure on that.
Yeah. For 5th grade, they need that that template, especially at the beginning of our module.
Jessica, you're on the videotaping, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I know you've had some meetings lately, because I did kind of bow out of that. There's a question about uploading assignments from InSync, or are they supposed to use what has been uploaded to Seesaw already through that document that was created?
So it's just kind of, they don't want to make anybody feel stressed out by saying you have to use InSync right away. So I think that I'm going to use the beginning and just kind of go with what I know so I can focus on getting to know my students. And then as I start to, they're comfortable with the procedures and things like that, I'm going to be uploading more and more from InSync or onto Seesaw from the InSync website. But I think whatever way you do it to make sure they get the problem set and the exit tickets, that it's not a big deal. And not every video came with like a Seesaw activity. Every week that we met with video team teachers, the expectations were changed on us. And so they started off not having us worry at all about different assignments. And then it kind of, people started making assignments, but I personally didn't make any assignments to go with my videos, partially because it's math. But I also think that you guys want something to do. You want to be creating stuff for your own class and teaching it the way you want it. So there are suggestions of what you could do, but you don't have to use anything other than the videos that the video team teachers made. Everything else you get to make yourself.
Jessica, could you go to the district website and show them that link that brings up that document, the instructional document for teachers?
Yes, that way you can.
It was pretty helpful, but yeah, I agree. I mean, if there's something your team wants to do as an assignment, there's no reason you couldn't do that. Just make sure that your team's kind of on the same board.
You guys will get to hear me talk about this tomorrow. Actually, no, I'm in the chat tomorrow. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, a lot of this will be repeated tomorrow, so.
Jessica or Nettie, a quick question for you. Are we starting day 1 with the videos, or are we supposed to use that first 4 days with our students, getting to know them, and then the videos start the next day? Because I keep hearing 2 different things.
So we were told in one of our meetings that you are starting day 1 with the videos, day 1 with lessons.
Thank you.
But I understand your concern and the other part too. So it is going to have to be a little bit of a balance as because there'll be technology issues. You need some time to build that too with your kids. But again, it's your call a little bit, but they want everyone starting first day instruction for sure. You may not get as much instruction as you want, but get your foot in the door anyway.
So some people I know already have looked at this. This is the teacher planning document for 5th grade. Down at the bottom, it has all of the different subjects. So for math, like I said, I think we have videos all the way until October, it looks like 21st. And I stopped it in the middle of the topic because then they told us about this InSync and that there were videos available. So I stopped in the middle of the topic, and I apologize for that, but these videos are not fun to make. But on here, the only thing that's required is the video that you would be doing. There's going to be suggested things. There's going to be things that you could do. There's going to be technology that you could do, Mastery Connect links that you could do, but none of it is stuff that you have to do.
Where is this located at? This teacher planning document?
Okay, so if you go to the Topeka Public Schools website,
Under remote learning.
And then you go to remote learning, then you're gonna click on, I can't talk and click at the same time. And then you're gonna go over here to 5th grade.
Okay.
And then it's just right here. And as far as I understand, only people with, I think it's only teachers. They were working on trying to make sure only teachers had access, but I'm not sure if anybody with an @TPS 501 account can click it. I'm not sure how that ended up working out, but you should have access to that. And my suggestion for it, it's a lot. I would just copy and paste a week at a time just to look at it in a more digestible form. Do we have any other questions? All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Please feel free to send me or anybody actually an email. Diane, for sure, you can send her an email asking questions, but if you just have a question that you want to ask me or Jerry, I also want to thank Alan and Nettie for helping kind of field all of the chat questions and stuff like that. You guys were helpful. I think that's it, guys. Thanks so much for showing up.
Good job, guys.
Great
Great job, guys. Appreciate your support of our teachers.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
You ladies did a great job.
Hi.
And honestly, you just get in there and play with it. It's a lot of neat features.
I just wish it was a little bit more user friendly.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's small little annoying things. That's not something that makes it like unusable.
It's not something that's like, oh my God. It's not like Tyler Sis at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Or trying to send out a mass email right now through Tyler Sis. I got frustrated last night trying to do that. And then this morning
I had to do that by the end of the day. And
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to do that this afternoon when I'm in the building.
Yes.
So that I can be like, Angela, I have no idea what's happening. Come help.
Yep.
I just like to take all of my parent emails and like put them in Google, what is it? It's like Google Groups or something like that. And then I can just access it through my email. And it's so much easier. There's not a message at the top of it. There's not any.
Right.
So how is your guys' class list looking? And I guess I'm a little gray on what the heck is going on in phase 1. And like,
Well, in phase 1, I have 29 students.
okay, yeah, I've got 26, and I'm like,
I won't say what I have.
no.
Say it, Alan. Say it so I can be jealous.
I only have 20.
Ugh.
But when we go
in our
remote,
building has a lot of remote learners. So
Yeah.
when we do go to in person or whenever that is, I will only have like 13, but Lindsay's going to be our remote teacher and she's going to have like 40 something.
yeah, each of us have about 20. There's one with 22, and then of course we have a couple kids that don't come to the class at all, so that kind of played into it. And then if we do make it to phase 2, 3, whatever, I only have 11 because we have surprisingly, half of our IEP kiddos are remote only.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of ours are too.
And I get that, but I just feel, and the sped teacher's like stressing, and I told her, I said, if there's anything I can do to help, because they're gonna be the ones struggling. So.
Well, I guess maybe I'm just a little salty, but I'm questioning what is the other half of our staff doing if we're taking all of the remote kids in phase 1, which is going to probably last a long time.
Well, I know here, like Mr. Williams said, ours are being filtered in, like who are like our remote teacher that will be remote is actually going to be like a support teacher in that grade. So she'll be in and out. I don't think they're planning. I don't think that.
Right, or grading or.
So,
yeah.
I know, like, I'm gone the 25th of this month, and they aren't doing subs right now. But Lindsay and one of our interventionists, Levon, are going to be with 5th grade, and so like one of them will take my class for that day, so they can sub, they can assist you. I would hope that some of them would get in and help grade on Seesaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because good God, 29 kids is going to take me a million years.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least I'm not the only one feeling like this. Like, I just feel like I'm crazy. Like,
but I feel like there's a lot of things that, like, even in yesterday's PD, we didn't cover yet.
Yeah.
I felt like yesterday's PD was focused on phase 2 and not, at least for my school, I felt like it was focused on.
Well, and they literally said, we're not going to talk to you about phase 2 because it's not here yet. And we don't.
Interesting.
I know. And I was like, because I don't know what other schools got yesterday. So I was like, I mean, I don't know what information they have, but I know that only what is going to happen in phase 1 really, because they're like, there's just too many things that can still change before we go back in person. And if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea when that will happen. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be for a while.
Yeah.
So.
I know I got a bunch of phase 2, like the reopening plan. And I said something to teachers at McCarter, and they said the same thing.
I'm stepping out, ladies.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for help.
Bye.
We do have our reopening plan, but they talked a little bit about phase 2, but they just kind of like glossed over it until we are living it, I guess. And then we will have to do all the things. But I don't know.
All right, Jerry. Nice job.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
I was like, you know what? This is supposed to be my slide, but Jessica's got it. She's just going. I'm just going to let her do it. She seems to know what she's talking about, so I'm going to let it go.
I just did, like, there's that weird, like, downtime in Zoom where you don't know if, like, they're not going to say anything. Like, that's the part I'm missing being in a class.
It's really okay. I know.
There's
like
quiet.
You can't really read cues on a video chat.
No. And I forgot how much it is to share your screen. Like, I couldn't see any of the chats coming in. I could barely see.
And then as soon as, like, you were having so many issues, like, sharing your screen, I was like, you know what? It is easier that I just, like, put in information as she goes to versus do it all. No, this is my slide.
I just hated that what they wanted us to say was so unclear.
Well, yeah. No, I liked how you did it, and I think if they truly had questions, they would have been asking them. They're gonna have questions, and they can take them to their coaches.
Yeah.
So.
I felt like they were just all like checking your email or maybe doing another PD at the same time. Who knows?
Yeah. I liked how there were questions about, like, how do I get into Clever? I'm like, oh, God. Yeah. Honestly, though, like, I do remember a lot of teachers last year. I think last year I helped with new teacher orientation, and a lot of people couldn't get into Clever. And I was like, it's because you're new. I bet that's the answer. Actually, that Cody guy was my social studies practicum student. I was like, I know him, actually. That's weird.
Oh, my goodness. So many messages on my phone. All right, ladies.
All right, I'm going to go.
I'm
Good
gonna
job.
go eat my lunch and then go to school.
All right.
Bye, guys. Good
Bye.
work today.